like hose tap
City
water.
water.
Something about that metallic taste.
Yeah, it's like, oh man.
They are like water snobs.
No, I'll drink
Yeah.
anything except for Nestle water.
What's wrong with
Try Nestle water sometime. It's terrible.
Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get to the introduction. Hey guys, this is Bonanza Pilot and quarter Asian quality. That's what we're going with, apparently. Quarter Asian quality is like borderline racist. I like it.
But I am Asian.
Yeah.
I like quarter Asian quality because like don't expect a full Asian quality, you know, production or anything in general. Like only a quarter well done.
You
You
don't
know,
even like. You're not even that Asian.
I'm okay.
Anyways, point is, yeah, okay, we're rebranding to Bonanza Pilot. There's gonna be people who are like, I liked the old Ben Weeks Bonanza. What was wrong with Ben Weeks Bonanza Pilot? It's so long, nobody can remember Ben Weeks Bonanza Pilot. So Bonanza
And it's
Pilot.
really hard to make a logo for.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. So merchandise was very
We
difficult.
tried so hard.
You ended up just writing out the alphabet when it was all said and done. So
Moving on.
Bonanza Pilot, Flying Ryan / quarter Asian quality. Jury's still out. This is Holly. You guys all know Holly from before. She showed up here and there and improved my videos when she's in them. And then Kevin, Ryan's better half.
Wow.
So we're the pilots in the family,
Ryan and Ben.
Ryan and Ben. And then Kevin and Holly have to live with that. So.
But Kevin wants to get his license, which
Yeah,
that's something we're going to talk about later when we
later.
talk about how we all met.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
I'm going to have to get it eventually because, you know, I'm married to him.
What are we doing? We're doing a podcast. Okay, I have avoided doing a podcast for a long time because they're long. The other thing, I talked to you, Ryan, about how I haven't heard an aviation podcast that I could ever like pay attention to. Oh, here it comes.
Hi.
Hey.
Who wants zucchini?
Zucchini steak?
What?
Yeah, toss them over here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Shorty.
No, why all the grass is coming up in the garden now. I've never had that happen before. Rain. When I water,
I've never seen. We have to walk to it. We're old fashioned.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling me. All I'm doing is no more zucchini.
So now we're all sitting here with zucchini.
Okay.
Wait, no, you have to keep holding on to it.
No, I don't.
All need to hold a zucchini.
It's like,
It'll be the episode, the one where we all held zucchini.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Also,
Friend reference.
What if
You
Yeah.
started it.
I love
You
Friends.
literally
That's the
started
only
it.
crop top
So,
she gave me.
That's actually something we need to address. I really like Friends, and it's actually Ben's fault, but now he hates that I
So,
love it
I
so
will say
much.
I've started over watching the entire thing
Uh-huh.
in Spanish because I want to learn Spanish.
That's such a good idea.
Just English subtitles.
Yeah, I've heard people saying that that's like a really good way to learn another language. Smart.
Well, aren't you cool?
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, the one with the zucchini.
Yeah, so the podcast, I was hesitant to do it because I was bored by aviation podcasts. If I would have my friends on, like my best friend does drilling and blasting in quarries, and he does rock crushing. That's pretty interesting to me. I might have him on to talk about that. The everyman, you know, what is just a hardworking man providing for his family. Plus, he had a near-death experience with me in the airplane, so I feel like that would be a
come
good
up.
debrief, and that would be, you could talk about several things. So I think there's a lot of ways to make it always aviation related without it being just time. I don't want to talk about stalls and this, that, and the other, all the stupid stuff that everybody talks about. Too
It's
much
fine.
untreated ADHD going on here.
And anything
This
with.
stupid zucchini. I'm not doing- I enjoy making videos, but it was getting to be just too much. All the hard, like the busy work of getting videos out was just too much to deal with. So I stopped. And then I was about ready. I just didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. I didn't like the videos I was putting out. I felt like they weren't good quality. And then we moved to Highlandville, and I was looking for a place to keep an airplane. And I didn't even think about Gimlin because has a little bit of the reputation of being a little bit snooty.
There's no drama here, though.
No drama at all.
It's amazing.
But I wanted to see if I could just keep it in like a field, because as we all know, these Bonanzas can land. I mean, you give me a hay field with a 20-foot strip cut out that's 1,000 feet long, and I can operate out of that all day long
And
with me
there's
and
hay
Holly.
fields all over the place here.
Yeah, so I made a Facebook post and I said, hey, are there any farmers that, because I saw all the fields as we were driving to our house, I was like, somebody in there, surely I could pay for the hay that I'd be using and just keep that mowed. I said, hey, would anybody let me tie down in their field? I'll pay for the hay that I'm using to mow it. And then you had reached out and you were like, hey, we are on Gimlin. I was like, oh, Gimlin. I was like, I do not want to. I was like, I don't think like I want to be at Gimlin, but I was like, we'll try it out. You're very nice. And then I was like, oh yeah, we'll fly. We're still in Joplin. I was like, we'll fly over, and we got a time.
It was like the coldest.
It was a
Not
miserable
the coldest.
day.
It was just a yucky day.
It was kind of
like rainy and chilly.
Yeah.
Super cloudy that day.
Yeah.
So
It was cloudy.
and I was like,
Very cloudy.
I'm gonna come in this afternoon. She's like, what about the weather? And I was like, it's fine. I got like 2,000 foot ceilings. Like, that's fine. She's like, oh my goodness, I'd be so scared. I was like, oh wow. I was like, this Ryan person is gonna be, I can see how this is gonna go already.
So Ben had some preconceptions.
I had some preconceived ideas that like you were gonna be one of those like, you know, my personal minimums are like 5,000 foot ceilings and not a raindrop in sight. That wasn't the case. I didn't know how many hours you had or anything, but we did come. I impressed you with my scud running abilities. And that was like, you guys were so nice. I was like, oh my goodness. I was expecting
What?
older people, that it was gonna be like some older people.
But you're just like looking
I don't
for
know.
them, like,
They might be spying on us. But no, you guys were like closer to our age, and I was like, wow, this could be kind of cool. And then I guess that kind of leads into how from your end. I explained that we met. What did you guys think when
Well,
these?
our perception was, hey, this person's actually willing to mow for a space, you know, and I don't know if we have room for our planes here, but I asked Kevin, and he said, yeah, you know, just go ahead and invite you guys and see how it works out. And so, which was kind of weird because usually Kevin's not like, oh yeah, just, you know, he's usually.
I think you're nicer than she makes you out to be. She was like, Kevin doesn't like this. Kevin does. I'm like, Kevin seems pretty cool to me. I don't know what you're talking
He's
about.
very reserved.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
and
understandable.
that's fair. Like, it's y'all's property. Like, you don't want a bunch of just like random bozos like hanging out all over all the time. But for some reason, with
For
these
some
two
reason,
bozos, you just thought it would be.
Well, I didn't know where you guys were gonna park or if there was even room, so I figured you guys come look, see if there was a spot that you liked. And Ben was like, well, I could park there, and I could park there, and there, and there, and we could fit 50 planes out here.
He's like, let me just put some tie downs in for you.
And then you were like, oh, you should put in like a lot more tie downs. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, he's like, how many do you think I could fit? I was like, well, like probably like on the whole property, like 10. She's like, we should do 10. I'm like, oh. I'm like, no, let's slow down a little bit. But you guys, you were kind of frustrated with aviation, right? At that point.
I was kind of done flying. Kevin didn't want to fly. He didn't want to get his pilot's license. So
Because for the sickness thing as well, that was a big piece of it too.
That and Cupcake was a slow, junky plane to me, honestly. And that's one of my, I'm like, I'm going to have to learn this thing. It's going to be the plane we're going to have for a long time.
look, I loved that plane.
And we flew a few places. We flew to Fayetteville, we flew to Bentonville, Rogers a few times. But I mean, shoot, that thing was just like, it just putted along.
So you flew with her a few.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't get sick every time you flew.
No.
then.
No, I took Dramamine.
Okay.
So beforehand, the only time I got sick is whenever I was actually getting my 2 hours
Yeah.
that I got. So
Okay.
yeah.
Tell them about Cupcake, because they don't know about.
So Cupcake is a 1976 Piper Warrior 1. It's got a sticker on it that says Warrior 2, but it is a 1, and I love that thing. But I also was kind of done with it just because the whole reason I became a pilot is because I want to land in grass strips and go do adventurous stuff and have fun, you know. And if we go to Alaska on a hunting trip or something, do what my uncle's doing, go land on these random, you know, gravel bars and camp there.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's what I want to do. And I've got some friends that do like Bird's Adventure, and that's actually what
Arkansas,
got me
right?
flying. Yeah, Arkansas. that's what got me going, was that grass strip and seeing everybody fly into there. Well, I can't really fly Cupcake into these grass strips, and so
It's a 140 horse engine. It is pretty anemic.
yep. So it just kind of died there. And then you came along with a plane that I was never going to get into.
Yeah.
And then I ended up buying one a month
Well,
later.
How long did it take?
Like less than a month.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks.
Well, everybody was like, it's the doctor killer. Even,
Yes.
Even her doctor friend, he came over to my shop one day, and he's like, you guys ought to get a Bonanza. I'm like, oh, a V-tail? He's like, oh, no, you guys don't want a V-tail. That's the doctor killer. Then, yeah. But after riding, these are phenomenal planes. Like
Do you want
crazy.
to address the Dr. Killer misnomer?
Anyways, yeah, the V-tail, the Dr. Killer. So that's what it got back in the. I'm going to get the dates wrong, but I want to say it was in the 70s or 80s. They had some high-profile accidents. There was the Buddy Holly crash, which was the day music died or whatever. That was a situation where they had flown, I believe, at night and in wintry, icy conditions, and they had the old-style artificial horizon, which is what my dad's airplane actually has, and it is a deadly instrument that has up is down and down is up. They have it flipped upside down. That's just the way the gyroscope works. They went away from that because people were getting confused. I actually got inadvertently into IMC myself and about killed myself because of that stupid instrument. I luckily survived, but that was a big high-profile accident. Then they had some other just crashes that happened, and it got the moniker the fork-tail Doctor Killer.
And the doctor part is because usually people who are buying these airplanes had money, right?
Yeah, that was.
Or they were on a schedule.
Yeah, there's.
Had money and on a schedule, and
Yeah.
that fit stuff.
I
That's
liked how you described it, where you'd have these people that weren't flying a whole lot or preparing a whole lot, that wanted to get somewhere far quickly.
Yeah.
And you can fly through all different kinds of weather. You know, it's nice here,
Yeah.
but it's cloudy there, and people were getting themselves in IMC conditions inadvertently and getting killed for that reason.
Well, you saw the yellow, that Cub, that J3 Cub that flew in. Okay, that thing top speed is going to be 75, 80 miles an hour if you went wide open. That's the kind of airplanes they had back in that day. And then suddenly there was a little bit faster stuff, but relatively slow airplanes. And then you've got in 1947, right after World War II, you have this this design, it looks, you can park it on the ramp next to the Cirrus, next to the Diamond aircraft. Yeah, it looks a little boxier, but it still has a relatively, it doesn't look like it's 77 years old. But coming back in 1947, that would look like an absolute rocket ship. That was something out of sci-fi, out of Star Trek. And so it just opened up a whole new world of capability. And then people were not ready for dealing with the elements, having the ability to fly from sunny in California into some terrible weather mess down in South Texas. Like, you're just not ready for that. And they didn't have any of the technology that we have today. Their weather reporting, all of that. We have radar. We have so many tools at our disposal to keep us so much safer. It becomes a two-edged sword because you then feel more confident to push into, that's what got me, was that I felt like I had enough data in real time that I was going to be able to track what the weather was doing, and then I just got trapped. So that was that's where it got this reputation that was really the fault of the people who were flying more than it was the fault of the aircraft. But once you get that, you know how a reputation is hard to shake, and to this day, people who have never even touched one of these airplanes knows that they are the fork-tailed Doctor Killers, and that V-tails, you got to stay away from them. And it's fine, it keeps the prices down. That's why you get such stinking good deals on these airplanes, is because nobody wants to touch them. The insurance companies don't want to touch them. More Bonanzas for us.
Just
I
don't become a doctor.
say. Yeah,
It'll be fine.
well, I got that all taken care of. So, yeah, I guess
Wanna talk about that
we might as well talk. Let's get that out of the way.
Just rip off the Band-Aid.
We're gonna rip off the Band-Aid. So we got to talk about, as you guys have known, I flexed every so often in my YouTube channel how I was a medical student. It was a struggle. Okay, I was making videos every, a few times a year, and that was even more than I could handle. We were very busy.
Spending time with airplanes, like much more than that, for sanity, because it's really hard doing what.
Yeah, medical school is very difficult.
Yeah.
But we'd use we kept an airplane up there at the hangar. We would at the airport in Joplin, and then we would fly back to see our parents, because there's a runway at my parents' house. There's a runway at Cedar Creek.
My parents' house.
For her parents.
And we're both very much homebodies.
Yeah, so the biggest, even Joplin is only 2.5 hours away by car. It's still like we're just such like homebodies that we love this area, so we come back every chance we get. But I made it all the way through. I mean, I struggled the entire way through, past level 1, got into rotations, got all the way through
Killed
year
it.
3.
Actually didn't kill it. Did a super good job. Like,
Yeah, I
all
did
of
well.
his preceptors loved him.
I got really good reviews.
Patients loved him.
But I struggled. I mean, every test I took was a struggle. And then you had to do level 2, which is the final board exam before you're cleared for residency. So I was into 4th year trying to get level 2 passed, and then had 3 chances, failed it 3 times, and got kicked out of medical school. So that was back in November of 2024. And actually right when I bought my airplane, which is funny with money that I didn't have, but
So
it's too
from
good of a
here-
deal.
From now, though, that was about
6 months ago.
Seven.
Now we're on to
About
7 months
seven.
So how many
ago.
years of school?
so
As in like the medical school, I made it
outside of high school, 5 years of
5 years of undergrad and 3.5 years of medical school.
So 8.5
I made it
years.
like all the way through. Like essentially there was, all I had to do was
has-
pass level 2, and I had residency. I had interviewed at residencies. I had places that were ready to take us. We were couples matching, but I couldn't pass the final board. So I had to kind of do a career shift. That was very difficult. I'm not going to trauma dump too much about that, but it was not easy.
And I mean, we're still actively going through it even now. We're not even a full year out from it. And
Yeah.
I think that you've adjusted like amazingly well to all of this, but like that's a super hard thing to change your entire trajectory of your life.
Yeah, when you invest like 10 plus years into something and then it like kind of doesn't work out, that's a bummer. Which does, people make businesses that don't work out. I mean, it's not. But yeah, that was kind of difficult. So I thought about, there's some routes I could go and do. For one, you could potentially, there's Caribbean medical schools, and there's options you could go to try to repeat. You can get special, because you can't get licensed in Missouri with 3 board failures
on any one exam.
on one exam. So, but like there's some other states allow it, so I would still be able to get board certified in some states in the United States. But given the fact that we're so, such homebodies, I wasn't interested in not being able to practice medicine in Missouri. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do, try to get my DO or MD. So instead I was like, well, maybe nurse practitioner or PA, physician's assistant, which is, I'd still be able to, practice at our small town clinic that we'd always planned to go to. I just wouldn't have all the autonomy that a full-on physician would have. And so I kind of started dipping my toes into like the application process to get that rolling again. And that did not work out at all. I was like, I cannot do this. Like there was I clearly had not processed it. And so I already, doing a lot of owner assisted annuals on my dad's airplane, all the Bonanzas that we got. You guys know we have Bonanzas out the wazoo. And so I was getting, like, without realizing it, while in medical school, I was becoming actually pretty proficient with these airplanes. I still have a lot to learn, but I mean, it's
resume, sorry to interrupt you, but like it was so funny because we were putting together his resume for like residency programs, and like all of it is pertinent towards medicine because there's so many skills that you like developed during your time working on airplanes, but like your resume was for somebody who was like in aviation, not for somebody in healthcare, simply because of the fact that you like did so much on the side with that, just like in your spare time.
Clearly, spare time, or in time that should have been spent studying, presumably.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. So I definitely had built a skill set, and like you think about the sunk cost of going through all that effort and then failing. But a lot of the skills that you learn in medicine actually translate. The interpersonal skills work. I mean, you know this with your business, being able to talk to people and be polite and friendly. That transcends any industry, and that helps a lot. So those were skills that we learned.
And not only that, conflict resolution. While you tend to be a little bit of a hothead, you are actually very good at talking to people who have differing viewpoints from your own.
Yeah.
And being able to relate to like almost anybody, which I think is definitely a talent that like you have naturally.
Except for female aviation
Yeah.
influencers.
Apparently, yeah, I'm actually
Apparently,
a little bit sexist.
he's at super like big odds with all of the.
They don't even know who I am. It's the
Female
Thanos meme where
They don't even know your name. Like,
Phoebe tries to is like, I don't even know who you are. She does know me.
One day you'll have more followers than her, then she'll find
There's
that video.
not a chance. So no, she reached out on Instagram actually before she had really blown up a whole lot, but she was still pretty Instagram famous, and she was looking for a pitch change bearing for a 215 propeller. And
That's cool.
Even if I had one, I wasn't gonna give it to her because you need to keep those around. Like I needed spares. I was
Have given it to a guy.
No, I wouldn't give it to anybody. I tried to point her in the direction, of where she could find one. She ended up finding one somewhere else, but I remember like, oh, I guess she knew about my YouTube because that's how she found me on. I don't think she
it's like
subscribes.
the best marketing. That
In
you
fact,
could
she's
have
not
had.
a subscriber because you can look at like your subscribers now, and it shows you can sort by.
Male or female.
No, you can sort by most subscribers, so like most popular, essentially, and it'll show like my Fly with Russ or Russ Can Fly or something is like he's like 30,000 subscribers or something. That's my biggest. Actually, Blanco Lirio, he's got like 700,000 subscribers, but he does crash investigations.
So sorry to all these people if you didn't want to be mentioned in this video, but
Well, in his second.
all
They're public. You only
Yeah.
see it if there actually could be bigger, but you have to choose if you're public. Like if you have your subscriber stuff
okay.
public, then they see that data.
Gotcha.
If you're private, so there may be like some million subscriber person who wants to keep it private.
plus all publicity is good publicity, even
Yeah.
if it's linked with the likes of you.
Sure. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Point is, I don't even know why we're talking about Stevie. It's gonna come up. I just can't. People always aspire to be great. You gotta always tear down those who are more successful than you.
Make a point to bring up Stevie in every single video from here on.
I know.
She's the best of the female YouTubers, probably. I don't know why. Like
You
she
said it.
takes all of my like. It's because she does Bonanza. It hits too close to
Yeah.
home. She's got that C35 Bonanza with mismatched hardware on the gill covers. At least her gill covers probably all have hardware on them. No, there's nothing wrong. It was not aimed at her at all. I'm derailed. I don't know what we were talking about.
We were talking about med school.
Oh,
and-
business. Yeah, so I switched to aviation, which I'm actually actively doing it right now. So I have the hours. I'm about to get my sign off to take the test for my airframe and power plant mechanic. After that, it's 3 years as an A&P. Then you can get your IA, so your inspection authorization, so you can do annuals. Simultaneously, I found out that I've got to get my CFI. I've been teaching, I taught my brother how to fly. He's an idiot, and I still taught him how to fly. So I was like, if I can teach Stanley how to fly,
Sorry, Stanley.
I can teach anybody. So I find that I really enjoy, which I never would have thought I would be like a teaching type.
You're such a good teacher.
I can barely, I struggle so much with school and learning that I was like, there's no way I can teach. Like if I can't even learn myself, how am I going to teach anybody else?
You're really good at explaining things.
Yeah.
A lot better than a lot of people.
I guess it's because I have to simplify it enough that I understand it, and so that's like the lowest. If I can understand it, then maybe anybody can. So that's the goal. Is I want to get my CFI. I have to get my commercial first, then my CFI, and I'm going to get my A&P and IA, and that's going to allow me to be the one-stop shop because I'm obsessed with these stupid E-Series Bonanzas. If anybody has any I can't tell you how many people are like, I want to buy this airplane, but I can't get it. It's over here. I need it over here. Or I can't find an instructor who will step foot in the Doctor Killer. So I can't, I bought this airplane, I've watched your videos, they're awesome, I want to get one of these airplanes, but there's too many obstacles in my way. I am going to be like the Terminator for obstacles against like anybody in the country. I will go to you, we need to knock it out in a couple days because I don't like being away from home. Like I will come to you if necessary, I will get you, I can ferry your airplane to you, I can fix your airplane for you, and I can get you checked out in it, and there will be no other obstacles. Like by the time I'm done with you, you will be enjoying your airplane. And that's kind of the goal. And everyone's like, well, what about American Bonanza Society? They already do that. American Bonanza Society doesn't, that's our, we better check our, don't even get me started on ABS. Oh man. I'm not an American Bonanza Society member, which that is like heresy. People are like, how dare you, they support, because I don't see that they do anything useful for the old E-Series Bonanzas. We are like so antiquated at this point that the old airplanes, there's no money in it. I don't blame the American Bonanza Society, but they can't keep pointing people to the American Bonanza Society and claiming that that is going to be the support they need. People get mad at that. They're like, it's everything you need. No, it's not. I've talked to people. I have so many people that reach out to my YouTube channel and say, the American Bonanza Society didn't do anything for me. I paid my dues. I got nothing out of it. And I still don't have I'm not anywhere closer to being able to get an airplane or keep the airplane that I have flying. So I have kind of, what?
I love how you're like, I'm not going to talk about
I was
the
just
American
about to say
Bonanza Society. So what we're not going to talk about during this podcast is
We'll
the
cut that
American
out.
Bonanza Society, the Oshkosh trip that we have coming up, and the differences between male influencers and female influencers, and also
all the interesting
why
topics.
I got rid of my 1976 Warrior and traded it for a 76-year-old airplane, even though I said I'd never own a Dr. Killer, and I said I would never own a plane older than my parents. But then I did.
No wonder you were asking. You asked me what year it was. I was like, who cares what year? It's an airplane. And you're like, it's just so old.
That's so funny. Well, yeah. I mean, I'd like to hear sometime
Yeah.
what it would be like if you actually were going to talk about the American Bonanza Society.
It'll come up one of these.
Because that was pretty intense for not talking
I've
about.
already talked about. I've gotten so much hate over the American, but we won't. Let's skip the American Bonanza Society because that's a. In fact, I'm gonna get. I bet you. Okay, Tom Turner. I know you're gonna hear this. You're gonna hear about it. Tom Turner is like the head guy. He's a super nice guy. He's like the PR guy, I guess, or maybe he's the head of American Bonanza Society. Come on my podcast. I will come to you if I have to. He's a super nice guy. Let's talk. Let's hammer this out. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably like, it's probably, what is the term? Whatever, defamation. I'm probably doing defamation towards American Bonanza
Well, let's
Society.
not talk about you being wrong. Okay, let's talk about you being wrong.
I could be
all
wrong.
about it.
Yeah, I probably am wrong. But anyways, he can come on. We'll talk all about the American Bonanza Society. That'll be one of my guests. One of maybe the hard, heavy hitter guests at those seminars that you like to listen to and all that.
I love going to the seminars at Oshkosh.
We're just lacking a projector screen and poor audio quality.
I went to the 4 flight classes. I wasn't going to talk about Oshkosh. I'll talk about that.
Well, we are. So we need to get into. We're trying to, like, the last topic we kind of need to cover. Kevin was saying about kind of your transition to the Bonanza. We started to touch on it from the Warrior getting into the Bonanza. So share more about that, and then
just getting back into it.
yeah, Kevin
as a
taking
whole.
getting an interest in flying again because suddenly he had some horsepower, some horses
Yeah,
under that engine
That
cowling.
is true. There were a few parts to why I was getting out of it. I mean, I started becoming friends with more and more actual like airline pilots. They are so serious about flying. So that kind of took the fun out of it too. And then my plane couldn't do grass strips. And then Kevin didn't want to fly in Cupcake, which I love Cupcake.
Yeah.
But Kevin doesn't.
Also, we
oh, sorry, go
felt
ahead.
obligated to use a certain CFI, and he did not explain stuff at all.
That too, yeah.
So that's another thing. Ben really explained stuff a lot better than who we felt obligated to use, you know.
Right.
So. And I couldn't see over the dash in that thing. I could not see over the dash in that Warrior.
You could have used a cushion.
I could have used a cushion.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I have
Amelia
to.
would sit on a cushion.
Amelia would do a lot of things that are not advisable. Don't bring Amelia into this.
Okay, wait, really quick. Why is its name Cupcake?
Everything that I own is named after a food.
All right,
So-
but like why a cupcake though?
I'm not really sure. I know
Okay.
that, actually, I do remember. So, so the bus is Chip because we were getting Mexican food.
No, we was at we're ready tonight. Big Whiskies.
Oh, that's
We was
right.
eating buff dip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was just killing that buff dip with the chips. She's like, "What if we named the bus Chip?" And we're like, "Okay."
Which
There had to
their
have been some
bus.
alcohol involved in that
I don't
decision.
think there was.
It's a good name.
Wow, I guess it just came off the cuff.
The bus has a different colored fender on the front on the driver's side.
Yeah,
It's
okay, I
white.
saw that.
So everybody thinks that's the reason it's named Chip. Like
Oh,
Chip
it's like-
the Cop, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Visits. Got it.
Oh, I thought it'd be like it was slightly dipped into some. That's what I'm not
So,
following that at all. But
Then Cupcake because so that was inspired by my little niece's birthday party, and we had
Aw.
a huge cake. We take it outside and we set it out there, and I was not gonna dirty a bunch of plates for a bunch of 5-year-olds. And so everybody, my little niece, brought out a whole bunch of forks, and everybody started eating. You know, the little,
Oh, that's
but there
cute.
were some cupcakes, and I wasn't gonna share the community cake. So I ate a cupcake, and I was like, I'm gonna name it Cupcake.
Aw.
you need to talk about your weird germaphobeness. about everything, like how you write the name on the bottle
so then
caps.
I named my new plane Bonanza.
Yes.
Like
Which I
Bonanza,
was
even
like,
though it
what
has
the heck?
No yellow in it
You
whatsoever.
would think it would be yellow. It's not. But there's
It does
a reason.
sound like a Bonanza banana.
It's more of an OCD problem.
All right. Tell me about that. Tell me more.
You have to. She's just weird. Like, you
But,
know,
like-
what, you touched dirt and didn't wash your hands? Like,
No, that was bird crap.
Yeah,
same
that's
difference.
gross.
What do you think dirt is made out of?
Other things in addition.
Decomposing organic matter.
Yeah.
You know what bird crap is? Decomposing
Okay, we were
organic
talking
matter.
about these bugs that eat mold,
Uh-huh.
and how I just would prefer to imagine that these bugs are making such a big mess when they're like chomping on the mold that it's like falling out of their mouth.
Yeah, that they're messy eaters. I was like, that's their crap.
It's not
That's
the
bug
big
crap.
problem. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know why you're throwing Ryan under the bus like that, but
Way to bring in the bus again. I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But I was gonna point that out. I still haven't been in the bus,
Yeah, tell them about
but
the
I have
bus.
heard that the bus is super cool, and I feel like that they would be interested
And you
in
have
the bus.
tons of B-roll that you can show the bus. in this
Yes,
podcast.
do it. That would be so awesome.
Yeah, we can
What,
do that.
have you done any filming since we did the AC and the new solar? and
No,
all
I
that?
don't think so.
Okay.
We need to.
Yeah,
I would love
yeah.
to do that.
It's like, tell us what it is.
So actually, we just did that for her to go to Oshkosh last year. We put the AC and the new solar panels on there, and new battery bank.
Oh, that was
That's
that
awesome.
recently. I didn't
yeah,
realize.
but we haven't. That was the last time that thing was drove was Oshkosh last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you guys, tell them about you did mountain biking and stuff. Tell them about all that.
Well, the bus originally was for us to travel with the bikes around the country and race.
Yeah, Ryan raced professionally, enduro. So,
Even was sponsored by GoPro. Some of her
other
videos are
companies, too.
crazy.
You had bike sponsorships too. A lot of bike components and things
yeah.
were sponsored.
Suspension and-
yep.
And so you started doing. Oh, talk about your YouTube channel. 'Cause people need to understand where
Yes.
they don't really know. They know me. I mean, this is my channel, but they
So,
don't know much
this
about.
is Dwayne. He's the fighter pilot.
Oh, that is sick.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool.
Yeah,
He's
super
probably.
cool car.
That's super. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the end of
Yeah.
this podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Probably.
Okay, what would we conclude it with?
We'll see you guys in the next one. Maybe part 2 will have to be a continuation of this where we'll carry on. All right,
Absolutely.
like and subscribe. Go check out Quarter Asian Quality and Flying with
Yes.
Ryan, or whichever one she decides this week to be named. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, cool. We're done. That's good. We need to wrap that up. We were never going to end.